So it says chapter 3, because we are skipping, guess what we're skipping? Chapter 2, very good. All right, so we're skipping chapter 2. Don't worry about why we're skipping it. You should be very, very grateful that we're skipping chapter 2. You won't want to do chapter 2, all right? Chapter 3 is much better, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so let's talk about, well, there's two things we're going to talk about. Parallel lines. We may not even get to parallel lines today. We'll probably leave that for tomorrow. We did get to that in the other class. If you want to look at it, it's fine, but we'll probably have time tomorrow to work on that. This is what we're going to talk about today. What is that word? Transversals. Very good. Let's talk about what a transversal is. It's very simple. Now, in chapter 1, you kind of got, hopefully anyway, you kind of got an idea of what geometry is going to be like. And one of the things that we do in geometry is we have a lot of words, a lot of new words that you probably have never used before. Now, you may have used the word transverse. I don't know if you have or not, but let's just talk about it and know what these words are. These are lines. I'm just too lazy right now to put the arrows on the end. They should have arrows, but watch this. I'm putting that into a different color. Why do you think I put that into a different color? Because that's the what? What did I underline that we said we were going to talk about? Transversal. So what do you think that red thing is? A transversal. Very good. Okay. So let me read the definition. I'm not going to make you memorize the definition, okay, or even write it down. I'm just going to read it, excuse me, and see if this picture right here says what the definition says. Transversal is a line. All right, well, I got 3 lines here, don't I? Got 2 white ones and 1 red one. A line that intersects 2 or more lines in more than one point. Do I have that situation here? Yeah. Do I have a line that intersects 2 other lines? Yeah, I do. So that red one intersects this white one right here, and it intersects this white one right there. Everybody see it? So that's 2 lines, 2 or more. So I could also have what? It says 2 or more. There's 2. I could also have what? A 3rd line, a 4th line, a 5th line. Okay, it doesn't matter. We're just going to do 2 right now. All right? So as long as that line, that red one, crosses 2 or more other lines, that's considered to be a what? Somebody gave me degrees. We didn't talk anything about degrees. It's a what? The name of it. What's the name of it? It's a transversal. Okay? It's a transversal. All right? Why is it a transversal? Because it intersects, or here's a word we're going to use quite a bit. This transversal cuts 2 other lines. Okay? You'll see that quite a bit. You'll say that that line cuts these 2 lines. And we'll talk about that probably tomorrow a little bit more. All right? Everybody knows what a transversal is now, correct? All right. Let's do something else that really has nothing to do with transversals, and we're going to go back to transversals. All right. What if I just have 2 lines that intersect? Do I have any transversals here? No, because a transversal has to cut how many? 2 or more. Okay? Does this cut 2 or more? No. Does this one intersect or cut 2 or more? No, it just cuts 1, right? So I don't have any transversals here, but I do have some angles, and that's what I want to talk about right now. I'm going to number the angles. We'll call that 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay? I want you to look at some of these angles and maybe tell me something about a couple of these angles. There's a relationship. There's something that's true about a couple of these angles. Look at angle 1. There's a relationship between angle 1 and the other ones. Any guesses? Just take a wild guess. They're all the same? Are they all equal to each other? In fact, let me do this. Let me just slant this a little bit more. Is that all right? Just to make it look like they're not all the same. Are all these angles the same? Is angle 1 equal to angle 2? There's no way, because what kind of an angle is angle 1? It's obtuse. What kind of angle is angle 2? It's acute. So is there any way an obtuse and an acute could equal each other? No. All right, but look a little further. What else do you think? 1 and 3. Look at 1 and 3. They're both what kind of angles? Obtuse. So there's a chance that they're what to each other? That they're equal to each other. Okay, what about 2 and 4? They're both acute, good. And so there's a chance they're what? They're equal to each other. Okay? They sure look like they're the same, don't they? Right? 1 and 3, doesn't it? And 2 and 4? Well, let me show you something. I'm going to do a little proof for you. I'm going to prove to you that 1 and 3 are actually equal to each other. Okay? So what I'm going to do is this. This is not going to be on a homework or anything, but I think this is good for you to see. So look at angle 1 and angle 2. What do angle 1 and 2 do? What do they form? We've talked about this before. This is not new stuff. Straight line. So angle 1 and angle 2, they add up to what? 180, because they make a straight line. Exactly right. So watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to say angle 1 plus angle 2. What do? They add up to 180. Agreed? You see that? They make that straight line right there. 1 and 2 make a straight line, so they add up to 180. Well, tell me something about 2 and 3. What do? They also add up to 180, don't they? So let's write that down. Angle 2 plus angle 3 equals 180. So check this out. If these two add up to 180 and these two add up to 180, tell me something about this and this. They both equal the same exact thing, don't they? So they must both be equal to what? To each other. Exactly right. Do you see it? If this is 180 and this is 180, then they got to be the same thing. They got to be equal to each other. Yes? All right. If you don't see it, it's fine. But some of you will. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these equal to each other. So angle 1 plus angle 2 equals what? Angle 2, what? Plus angle 3. Right? Would you agree? Right? Because this is 180 and this is 180. So that means 1 and 2 have to equal 2 and 3. Check this out. Remember doing algebra? If we do something to one side, we do the other side. So I got an angle 2 here and an angle 2 here. They're exactly the same, aren't they? So if I subtract an angle 2 and I subtract an angle 2, see what we're doing? What did I say we wanted to do at the beginning? I wanted to prove that what? That angle 1 was equal to, let's not say the same because they're not the same angles. Okay, I know what you're thinking, but they're equal to each other. That's what I want to show. So am I on the way to showing that? Yeah, because look, they cancel. What am I left with then? It's not L1. What is it? It's an angle 1. That's an angle symbol. It's not an L. It's an angle 1 equals, bring that down, equals what? Angle 3. And check it out. So now I know for a fact that angle 1 and angle 3 are actually equal to each other. Okay, I don't have to guess. I don't have to measure it. I just proved it right there. Okay, you don't have to do that on a quiz or a test. Don't worry about it. But I think it's good for you to see at least once in a while to do a little proof. So 1 and 3 are equal to each other. What do you think that says about 2 and 4 as well? They're equal to each other as well. We give this a special name. We call them vertical angles. All right? And what do we know about vertical angles? 1 and 3 are vertical angles. See how they're opposite each other? See it? Anytime I get two lines like this, the angles that are opposite each other, they call them vertical angles. And what's true in every situation about vertical angles? Vertical angles are always what? 1 and 3, they're vertical angles. What did we say they were? We said they're not the same. Don't say same. They're equal, okay? Or you could say congruent if you wanted to. All right? That's it. Very good. Vertical angles are always what? Equal to each other. That's exactly what I wanted you to see. All right? And that's super important. That's something we're going to be using like almost every chapter. Maybe not every chapter, but that's going to pop up places that you just never thought it would, okay? That vertical angles are equal. So for instance, let's just do this. What if I gave you a situation? This is acute, so let's say that's 50 degrees, this angle right there. And that's all I told you. I just gave you two lines that intersect each other, and I just told you that this was 50 degrees. Could you find the other three angles? You should be able to, because if this is 50, what's this one up here going to be? Well, what number? Give me a number, a degree, a measure. It's not 180. 180 is a whole line. How'd you get 130? What math did you do? You went 180 minus 50, which is 130. So that must mean this is what? That's really the only math you have to do. What's this angle right here going to be? It's going to be 50 because it's across from it, and it's also next to this 130. So, well, 180 minus 130 is 50. Do you see it? Do you see why they're equal to each other? I mean, I did this part right here, but I could have just put numbers in here. If this is 130, what's this angle down the bottom? It's also 130. Everybody good? So I only gave you one angle, and you could find the other three angles in there. So that's kind of cool. All right? Everybody good with that? All right. So the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to have you draw it. I'm going to put it in your notes, but I'm not really going to talk about it today because we don't have enough time. We're going to be out of here like in 2 minutes. All right? But here's what I'm going to do. Draw it so you have it ready for tomorrow. All right? Because I'll finish this tomorrow. Again, if you want to watch the first class that we had that had second period, we did get to this point. We went past this point. So if you want to watch just so that you know what to expect tomorrow, might be a good idea. So what we're going to do is we're going to put some numbers in here. I got a whole bunch of different angles here. We'll call that angle 1, 2, 3, and 4. I'm going to call this 5, 6, 7, and 8. Now, what was the title of the lesson? Anybody write down the title of this lesson? Parallel lines. Do these two lines look parallel to each other? No. But what we're doing is we're just going to learn some names of the relationship between some of these angles. These lines are not parallel. Tomorrow, we're going to go through, we're going to do like four different things, I'll say. And then we're going to do parallel lines. All right, so these, we haven't even talked about parallel lines yet. All right, these are definitely not parallel because if they were parallel, what would it look like? They would not what? Those two lines would not what if they were parallel? They would not touch each other. It's right. Okay, they wouldn't touch each other. These eventually will touch, won't they? Right? If that went this way and this went this way, way out here somewhere, okay, they're going to touch. So these are not parallel lines, but we will talk tomorrow about parallel lines. Do you have that picture drawn? All right, and we're going to write some stuff. We're going to talk about the relationship between some of these angles. Like this angle and this angle, there's a relationship between them, and there's a name for them. All right, and that's what we're going to talk about tomorrow. Everybody good? All right. No homework tonight.